Rhode Island is broken.
A DHS supervisor and her daughter are facing federal charges today after investigators say they stole the personal information of hundreds of SNAP recipients to use their EBT card.
The Department of Human Services has burned through nearly $40 billion since 2015, and this year alone will spend over $6.5 billion. Where is Rhode Island's money going? Because of green mandates and heavy government regulations, Rhode Island now has some of the highest electricity rates in the entire country.
In Rhode Island, we have the fourth highest electric residential rates in the country.
But most importantly, on that delivery charge, 25% of that is borne by customers because of public policy decisions that we've made here in Rhode Island.
Families and small businesses are getting crushed by these skyrocketing energy bills. Rhode Island ranks dead last for business. Even Hasbro is moving its headquarters and hundreds of jobs out of the state.
That breaking news, Hasbro Toy Company moving its operations out of Pawtucket and up to Boston. The company that got its start in the Ocean State is now leaving Rhode Island.
Medical practices are closing across the state because Rhode Island refuses to pay a fair reimbursement rate.
Poirier and likely thousands of other patients found out about the closures Friday when Anchor Medical sent out this letter. Leadership writing in part, quote, "We have been unable to hire replacements for our physicians who have retired over the course of the last decade. While costs continue to rise, reimbursement rates make it extremely difficult to attract new physicians to our state."
Doctors are getting paid far less here than in neighboring states, so they're leaving in droves. Families are now waiting months just to see a doctor.
Now, RIDOT says that they've had crews working diligently since Friday night around the clock, but there's still no exact timeline for when the ramp will reopen. In the meantime, drivers are being urged to follow the detours. You'll see them on your route this morning.
Our roads are the worst in America. 37% of our major roads are in poor condition, the highest in the country. Rhode Island DOT has doubled its budget to over $1 billion a year, spent nearly $8 billion in the last decade, and the Washington Bridge has been closed since 2023. Yes, Rhode Island is broken, but we have a builder. Vic Mellor is stepping up. He's running for Congress to fight for Rhode Island on the federal level, while raising up and supporting local leaders to run for office at the state and city level. Because real change only happens when both sides are working together. He's bringing together builders, leaders, and working families who are tired of being last, and giving them the resources to fight back and take our state back.
If you don't vote, you're not going to get representation. If you don't vote, you're not going to get people like me in office to fight for you.
Vic will demand a full big audit of Rhode Island DOT and Human Services to root out the fraud, waste, and abuse. He'll fix our roads without raising taxes, cut the regulations strangling our businesses, bring doctors back, protect our gun rights, and bring real jobs back to Rhode Island. Enough is enough. It's time to put Rhode Island first.
Please welcome your MC for the evening, Patriots legend, three-time Super Bowl winner, and Light Foundation co-founder, Matt Light.
All right, welcome everyone. Hello, Rhode Island. All right, you guys are awake. We're getting there. We're going to have a little fun today. So listen, here's the deal. When Vic calls and asks me to do something, I always say yes, because he has a lot on me. I've tried to say no in the past, but no, the reality is this, right? Here's what I know as a guy who's 48 years old, grew up in the Midwest, and then transplanted here to the Northeast to run into fat people and have a little fun out there on the field, and then chose to stay here and raise my family and move to the great state of Rhode Island. What I can tell you is that I value what this part of the country represents. And that is you were first in everything at one point, right? You led the nation everywhere, and there's still a ton of that spirit right here in Rhode Island for sure. So you guys represent a lot of that, I promise you. And I've taken advantage of a lot of that. I've learned a lot, I've gained a lot, I've developed relationships. I have been able to be around so many leaders, people who pour into their communities and have helped me and helped our foundation and helped us do great things. So when Vic asked me to get involved, I'm going to get involved because he is involved. It matters to him what happens in the state of Rhode Island. And so I think we should celebrate that as much as we possibly can when anyone decides to jump into what he has jumped into. So let's give a big hand to Mr. Vic Mellor. I'll tell you, he's also inspiring to be around, and tonight we have some people that are going to have some inspiring words to share, some people who have done some amazing things. We're going to have some great musical performances, and we're going to have great conversations, and I think that's what we need more of today, right? We need people who are willing to take on tough conversations and do it with grace and do it with style, but also just do it, right? And the more of these conversations that we can have and the more that you can bring your people into these conversations, the better we can tackle the problems that are at hand. And as you saw in that video, there's a lot of things that we want to tackle in this community and in the great state of Rhode Island. So we've got some work to do. But before we get to that work, I want you to join me in welcoming one of the greatest vocalists in the world, a guy who has been on stages all around the world, the biggest shows, and he does it in an amazing fashion. Please give a big hand for our national anthem, the singing of our national anthem, Mr. Christopher Macchio, America's tenor. Well, that concludes this evening. We can all go home now. You know, typically after the national anthem was sung, I would go put my helmet on and run out for the first series, and I'm so glad that he didn't do that while I played, because I would have actually just ran home. I would have just called that quits. But we have a lot to get to, and you know, I think about moments like this and how important these conversations are, and how important it is to be present in the things that we do. You know, it's easy to get distracted in the world today. It's easy to find yourself lost in things. And, you know, I think if you're like me, you constantly battle, where do I put this thing? And how do I actually tap in? And tap in is what we did on the field, right? There was a teammate of mine, his name was Junior Seau. And if you guys remember Junior, yeah, he was buddy to us because everybody was buddy to him. And the reason everyone was buddy to him is because when he got to us, he was like 50, and he couldn't remember anyone's name. But what Buddy did on the field was truly special. And as a teammate, as a leader, it was truly special to have him look at us and say, hey, youngster, tap in. Tap in, because right now is really important. Right now is really important for everyone that's seated here, because many of you, most of you, are incredible leaders in your community and have done things that help uplift others. And that's an important thing today. It's easy to get caught up in what we need and what we want, but we need to make sure that we serve others. And so now I get to bring someone up to this stage who has spent decades serving those in his community. And he does that through his faith, through his words, and through his time. So for tonight's invocation and blessing, please welcome to the stage Pastor Paul Erdos.
I think every time I hear the anthem, it makes me a more American. Love it, right? It's incredible. Chris did a fantastic job. And I love the fourth verse of our national anthem. If you've never heard it, it says this: "Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand between their loved homes and war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace. May the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation." And listen to this: "Then conquer we must when our cause is just, and this is our motto, and God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave." And the echo of the words of an old preacher, he said, if we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be one nation gone under. And we live in a time where we're facing technology that's outpaced our character, challenges that are greater than our humility. Our intelligence is being hijacked by our educations. Our corruption has become our calls for social justice. Our acceptability is now more important than our accountability. And our sin identity is often the image we choose instead of the image that we have naturally been made to bear, God's image. But there's hope. And that hope is found in the person of Jesus Christ, in a radical return to his order and design. Within the scripture, we see that it calls us forward as men and women to live a life that is higher than what is humanly possible. We require a spirit that no man naturally has. It must be guided by the confidence that only truth can establish. In the book of Nehemiah, we hear a rousing call from a man who wasn't a priest or a politician, but he was overwhelmed with patriotism for his nation. And he told the people, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of those doing evil, but instead remember the Lord and take courage to fight for your country and for your sons and your daughters and their wives and homes. To revisit Francis Scott Key's poetry, we see that we are facing evil that threatens our blessed homes with war's desolation. But this war is right here in our own classrooms and courts and in our own culture. And we need individuals with courage and character who are willing to venture into the battle. And as he said, they must, as when God is their trust. We're blessed to take courage to be able to support such a man as Vic Mellor and to ask for God's guidance, protection, wisdom, and discernment upon him and his family. So Vic, thank you for stepping into the fight. And in the sentiment of General Patton, let's go to war so the enemy can die for his country. You bow your heads together with me and let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father and all-powerful King, we come before you as a people that are aware of our sin and our error, and we ask for our forgiveness, for your forgiveness from it. And we recommit to the calling of your word to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the Lord our God. We're not going to wait for the world to get things right, but we're going to step up in obedience to your word and join the fight against evil. We're thankful for Vic and the resolve that you've given him to stand firm on the truth as an ambassador of your kingdom. So we ask that he often remembers he's got friends in Rhode Island that are praying for him. And rejoice that he would represent us in Congress. Father, we ask for his guidance and for wisdom and discernment and protection upon Vic and his family, that he would know the reality of your presence in a constant and supernatural and comforting way. We humbly acknowledge that he needs your strength, and your truth, and your power to accomplish what he's now called to do. So we ask for your blessing upon this event tonight, and we, Lord, that we would properly celebrate your creation within us of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We ask this in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Pastor Paul, thank you so much. You know, I recently finished a couple of books that talked about the great change here in our country during that time when the Revolutionary War is over, and then we get into the Battle of 1812. And I don't know, you guys probably want to hear all these stories. I could go on for hours, so we'll just start now and then I'll finish. No, I'm kidding. But Pastor Paul reminds me of one of the pastors that was featured in this book, and just how much faith played a role in everything that we have done as a nation from day one. And how powerful the pastors are, and what a privilege it must be to serve your community, but how difficult that can be at the same time, because it shouldn't be easy to lead, whether you're a pastor or you're a politician. It should be difficult. I don't know anything that is worth doing that doesn't require great sacrifice. And so, Pastor Paul, thank you for that incredible invocation and blessing over this entire group and this community and people that are here. But I now get to have a little fun and introduce our performer this evening. This young woman is a rock star. I shouldn't say rock star. It's much more sophisticated than that. But I'm going to welcome to the stage someone who's going to be performing YMCA, which we all know. So please, Miss Chloe Castillo. Miss Chloe Castillo. One more reminder that I have not done enough with my life. And we're going to get to hear a lot from Miss Chloe, and you're going to get to hear a lot about what drives her and the things that she does. But thank you once again, Miss Chloe. Right now, if we could please have the American flag back up on our giant screen here. I would like all of us to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so, by the way, Vic knows how to put a great time together, right? He knows how to throw a party, and we have a lot of things we're going to get to, but this first speaker is someone who I call a friend, someone who is the Gloucester Town Council president. He always makes his family cheer. They're here tonight, I know. Thanks, kids. But he's a man that, if he has the time, he will be there. He will support what needs supported. And I think that's an amazing thing, right? What's more precious than our time? But it's an honor to know Will. It's an honor to be around Will. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. He's a leader. He's someone who is there to help. Please give him a big hand, Mr. Will Worthy.
Hi, I'm Will Worthy. I'm one of the owners of Big Bear Hunting and Fishing and The Range. I'm also a two-term town council president in Gloucester, Rhode Island. So what got me involved running for town council was the fact that I would go to the State House and I would see all of these people coming together to support our Second Amendment. And it made me look at how easy it is for people to take those things away from me. I teach a lot of people about giving 100%. Most of us can give 100%. But what I want to talk about tonight is giving that extra 10%. That's the uncomfortable spot. That's what changes people from being good people to being incredible leaders. I'm asking everybody to step up. You can give that extra 10% and help us take Rhode Island back.
Please welcome Will Worthy.
How's everybody doing? Got some shirts. I'm gonna throw all 30, but one more. Maybe more comfortable with the guitar up here, but how's everybody doing? Oh, wow, what a great night. Surrounded by some amazing people. Three-time champ right behind me. Right, Matt? Let's give it up for Matt. America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Some amazing musicians, and then Will Worthy from Gloucester. I'm here tonight because I need to really ask you to do some things. And, you know, leadership is not something that we're all born with. It comes with a lot of work, a lot of education, and trying to compartmentalize all the information that comes around you. And Vic has all that. And we got behind Vic. Vic came to us. Obviously, me and Andre run 2 gun shops. Yeah, Andre! You know, we've sued the state for the magazine ban. We try to give back to the community. If you came to our Second Amendment event, you see that we try to give back. Karen's in here somewhere. Raise some money for Karen. Because that's our core value. Our core value is to give back. And Andre and I tend to live by 3 pillars, and that's our faith, education, and community. And when Vic came to Rhode Island, it was a perfect fit. When he came down, sat with me and Andre, we asked him a lot of questions, and he checked a lot of boxes. Now, Rhode Island's a very special place. As conservatives, we can take our ball and go home at any time, right? We hear it from our friends. Oh, screw that state, I'm out of here, right? But look at us, we're still here, right? We're fighters. We don't want to give up our state. So that's us giving that extra 10%. When Andre and I had challenges with Big Bear catching on fire, we learned about community. And when everybody wrapped themselves around us during that time, I'm like, wow. And I always felt a need to give back. Because if people are willing to come to me, I need to be there for them. And that's why I decided to run for politics and get into, getting into the town council in Gloucester. I got a great crew. Is Cheryl here tonight? Where's Cheryl? She's in the back. She's great. We chaired the Gloucester Republican Party, but we've built some. Who's here? Oh, Steph, I can see you. I hope I got a shirt out that far. But I'm very blessed in Gloucester, right? But Gloucester's kind of like low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of conservancy up in Gloucester. And, I mean, did anybody here listen to any of the debates from the other side? Unbelievable. I had to shut it off. Like, I was waiting to hear if they were going to talk about some gun stuff, because obviously that's very important to me. But what you hear from them is you hear about progressive, right? You hear about socialism, communism. What are we going to leave to our children? Our grandparents would probably be rolling in their graves right now. I'm first-generation American. I saw what my grandparents had to do. Back in the day, there was the Portuguese-American clubs, the Italian clubs, all the different clubs. Where when they came to this country, they would have a place where they could communicate with each other, talk about where they learned English or who's hiring. All those clubs now are fading away, and so is our rights. Everything that we have that they worked hard for, we're ready to give them back the keys. We can't do that. We all know that we have challenges amongst our Republican Party here in Rhode Island. I have arguments all the time. We are not a spearheaded force. The Democrats will get together. They will follow each other off the cliff. But what we find is that I want to be right. I want to have the Facebook group. I want to be the one that everybody comes for information. And we have lost our way. And it's somewhere in the very near future, we have this election in November, then we have another election in 2 years. It is time for us to get off our asses and pull this state together. We can no longer be in a reactionary situation. That's what we do, we react. That is a place of it's a very bad place to be in. You need to be ahead of it. So I'm asking you tonight to please, I know you're all voting for Vic. You need to support your neighbors who don't know about Vic. You need to educate the people that might not be here tonight, because that's what we have to do. If we're going to give 110%, we have to look outside the box, we have to get other people involved, and we have to educate them. And I understand that Facebook is cancerous, right? It's great to show everybody, hey, I'm on the beach with my kids, or look at me, football. But when those are used, right, we don't even know what we're looking at anymore. Because Facebook can be very misleading. And you have to understand, because a lot of people that we need to get on our side, they might not know how to navigate through that. So you have to help them navigate. Help navigate your neighbor. Help navigate your parents that might be older. Because Vic is the solution. Now, I would like to say personally, I think Scully's probably a great guy. But you know what? He should have been in the Senate. We are wasting more money trying to get ahead by having two people go against each other. Vic has the relationships in Washington. He's already established. It's not a heavy lift for him. And I just wish that some of our leaders that made this decision move forward to have a primary, I think they need to reevaluate that what they have done in the state, even though they're Republicans and we have to support them, their decision for that was wrong. We have to hold them accountable. So with that, God bless you guys. God bless Rhode Island. God bless Vic Mellor. And thank you so much for listening to me. Have a great night. Come and get him.
Thank you, Will. Thank you. Yeah, it can be difficult out there. I was going to give you guys this whole lesson that I learned on trying to get my property established as a farm in the state of Rhode Island, but I promise you, you all have had those moments walking into those agencies and dealing with people who do not want to be helpful, right? I mean, how crazy is it that the people that work for the state don't want to be helpful? Crazy story. But it happens all the time. That's what we need to fix. And I know, Will, you deal with so much at the town level, and you do it with grace, man. And I tell you, that's one of the things that I really admire about those that serve. You can get frustrated, it can get difficult at times, but there are a lot of leaders like Will who do it with grace, and I think that's what we need a lot more in this world of as well. So thank you, Will. Thank you so much. I now get to welcome back, for a little bit more classical music, Miss Chloe Castillo. Thank you. All right, so, there's something special about music, right? I don't know, you're probably like a classic rock guy, I'm thinking, right there. Okay, yeah. Probably have some gangster rap people in here, maybe not. Okay, a little bit of country, yeah, I figured we had the country. I grew up in a very musical family, and obviously I didn't get any of that. I got the looks, of course, but I didn't get the musical ability. I've always had a great admiration and respect for those that can, do what Chris and Chloe do, right? I mean, would you ever leave home? I mean, I'd be in the shower all day. I mean, it's crazy to think how much talent it takes to get up and perform and do, what we get to witness and see all the time, but there's a lot of meaning and purpose behind music and artists and what they represent. And I've had an opportunity to talk to Miss Chloe a little bit this evening about something that's very passionate for her, something that she's passionate about, I should say, and why. And I think it resonates a lot with why we're here today and what drives a lot of us. And I think it's amazing also that a young woman like Chloe Castillo is doing the kind of work that she's doing, giving the talent that she has. So please give your attention to Miss Chloe Castillo one more time. And we do have another intro video before we welcome Chloe to the stage, so please turn your attention to the screen.
Chloe Castillo is a classically trained pianist who began playing at the age of 4. She has performed alongside world-class concert pianists and earned top honors in competitions. Seeing the near total absence of conservative values in the music industry, she became a passionate advocate for music that upholds beauty and tradition, knowing that all music holds a unique power to shape the hearts and minds of the next generation. She created and hosts the Classically Chloe Show.
The mainstream music industry has been weaponized against our families, our youth, and the very foundations of a free society.
A bold interview series that exposes how mainstream music shapes and often corrupts American culture and politics, while working to restore beauty, tradition, and values in the arts. Tonight, she stands with us as both a serious musician and a cultural fighter who understands that the songs we sing matter. Please welcome Chloe Castillo.
What's up, Rhode Island? So good to be here with all of you guys tonight. What a rally. Can we just give a round of applause to Mr. Victor Mellor? So let me begin with a question that might hit closer to home than you think. When was the last time you truly listened to the music filling your life? Just think about that for a second. And the lives of the people you love. Not the background noise on a drive, not the half-heard track while you cook dinner or something. I mean, really listened to the music you're consuming on a daily basis. The music you're being fed, maybe I should say. And thinking about it in the same way that you would the words being taught to your children in school, through television or one of those other mediums. So picture your 12-year-old in the back seat, earbuds in, head moving to the beat, and you catch a few lines to the speakers. Violence is being treated as a game, women reduced to objects, broken homes presented as normal, faith mocked, America itself just treated with overall contempt. And all of it rides on a rhythm so catchy, it plants itself in the mind and refuses to leave. That is not just a song, that's formation. That is a quiet discipleship by algorithm. Mind-controlling parasites, maybe you could say, can be found in much of today's mainstream music, and they're working exactly as designed. But this is not only about children. Every one of us who puts on headphones, turns on the radio, and lets a playlist run in the background is being actively shaped, whether we notice it or not. Music does not ask permission. It does not debate. It slips past the front door of the mind through rhythm, repetition, and raw emotion. What we repeatedly absorb becomes part of how we see the world, how we treat others, and what we are willing to tolerate. Confucius understood this centuries ago. He said, if one should desire to know whether a kingdom is well governed, and if its morals are good or bad, the quality of its music will furnish the answer. A society behaves over time consistently with the values and concerns of the people who live there. If you want to change human behavior or shape human behavior, you must first change what people believe is normal, acceptable, and right. This is exactly what the weaponized music industry has been doing. It does not argue with us, it rewires us. It slowly convinces us in an entire culture that degradation is entertainment, that brokenness is authentic, that faith, loyalty, and freedom are outdated. And once enough people accept these new set of values, the behavior of the society follows. Today, a hidden war is being waged through our airwaves and earbuds. The mainstream music industry has been turned into a weapon aimed at our families, our young people, and the foundations of a free society. What we listen to matters far more than most of us have ever dared to admit. From the heartland of Texas to the streets of Providence, a dominant soundtrack glorifies senseless violence, reduces relationships to the lowest common denominator, celebrates broken homes, stokes grievance and division, and mocks faith and patriotism, glamorizing hedonism and victimhood. It works because it does not lecture, it entertains its way right into the soul. A young person who would never accept an open argument for moral relativism will absorb it without resistance when it arrives wrapped in a beat they cannot get out of their head. An adult who would reject the same ideas in a political speech will still nod along when the music is good enough. That is the Trojan horse. That is why it is so effective. Let me be clear, this is not a call in any way, shape, or form for censorship or government control. The First Amendment must be defended without apology. Artists must remain free to create. What is at stake is something more American and more powerful. Personal responsibility, the choices made about what enters the mind, the home, and the atmosphere that surrounds the next generation. There is a lie circulated in our culture, the idea that it doesn't matter what gets created, only that something gets created. That is false. What gets created matters enormously. Look at how every past civilization is judged. They are not remembered mainly for their politics or rationalizations. They are remembered by the quality and beauty of what they left behind. Music is one of the most revealing things any people can make. A civilization that produces anthems of courage, hymns of hope, and songs of enduring love is telling the truth about its soul. A civilization that floods its airwaves with noise that degrades is telling a different truth. And history will judge accordingly. Think of the music that once marked the great moments of American life, the hymns that held people together through war and loss, the anthems that made strangers stand a little taller, the love songs that still make couples reach across the table to hold each other's hands, the ballads that sustained soldiers far away from home. Music has always possessed the power to elevate the human spirit or to slowly corrode it. Yuri Bezmenov, a former KGB operative who defected from the Soviet Union, warned that the most effective way to undermine a free people was not tanks or bombs, but demoralization through culture, especially through music. Flood a society with noise that degrades, and eventually it loses the capacity to recognize what is being taken away from it. John Adams saw the same danger from the other side. He said, "Our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." A generation or a culture raised on relativism, hedonism, and quiet disdain for its own inheritance will not suddenly develop the character required to defend liberty. Softened minds produced soft choices. What fills the public eventually shapes the public square. So what do we do with this reality? We have to wake up. We listen to the intention instead of indifference. We teach young people in our lives that not every song deserves a place in their hearts. We fill our own lives with music that strengthens rather than weakens. We refuse to accept degradation as the unavoidable price of being current. And we remember that the next generation is watching and listening to the soundtrack we allow to define normal. The question before us is simple and urgent. Will we continue sleepwalking while the moral atmosphere of this nation is rewritten one chorus at a time? Or will we finally treat music with the seriousness it has always deserved, as one of the most powerful forces for formation available to any people? You felt it, the song that raised the hair on your arms, the hymn that broke something open in a hard moment, the patriotic melody that tightened your throat. The power of music is real. It has been turned against us, and it's time we turn it back. It is time we reclaim America's music culture. The character of this nation is still being written in the songs we choose to live by, and in the songs we finally refuse to accept. That choice begins with every single one of us, in the moment we decide what is worthy of our attention and what is not. God bless you all. God bless Rhode Island. God bless Mr. Victor Mellor, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Well, if it's not musically, I think we're going to hear a lot from Miss Chloe over the next many years. You know, she brings her passion to everything she does. That's obvious, but, I think it's amazing that you choose to serve others. So, Miss Chloe, thank you so much for your passion and what you do. It's incredible. But now, if you could join me in turning our attention to the video screen one more time for a short video.
We have a special singer for you.
But there's nobody with the voice like this man, and so it's an honor that you're here, and I appreciate it very much.
International tenor Christopher Macchio's uplifting performance.
Christopher Macchio has the most beautiful voice I really believe I've ever heard.
Christopher Macchio!
Christopher Macchio!
Christopher Macchio! Hi, Christopher. Nice to meet you. You just tore the house down.
You are in for a very special treat. I heard him sing 3 notes, and I was drop Chinese with tears.
Christopher, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Joining us back on the stage for a special musical selection of Hallelujah and Nessun Dorma, accompanied by Miss, yes, that's right, you're back, Chloe Castillo. Please give a big hand for America's tenor, Mr. Christopher Macchio.
Victory march, it's cold on its
didn't come to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I stand before the Lord of Son with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, thank you very much. You know, the first time I performed that for the president many times now, and I reminded him, I just a few weeks ago did a concert for him, Johnny Infantino, and Mr. Light's old boss, Bob Kraft, at Trump Tower. And I reminded him, I said, you know, first time I did that for you was at the White House in 2020. And afterwards, they called me into the Oval Office that night. And I was like, am I in trouble? What's going on? What's going on? And he goes, Christopher, they just told us we're getting sued. We didn't have permission for you to do that song. He said to everyone in the room, he goes, but everybody, it was worth every single penny. It's all right, Vic's got a few extra bucks. He'll cover the tab for what I just did. And I don't think Leonard Cohen's going to endorse Vic anytime soon either. But how about those crazies outside, right? You know, you ever see a Bronx Tale? Forget it. Forget I said that. I'll be the only guy out there with a baseball bat. Okay. Anyway, no worries. I only speak for myself. So, I'd like to do a little something from the opera realm. This is from the Puccini repertoire. See, we're going to slide right back into Mr. Polished Opera Singer again. Forget about it. So, this is one of my real favorites, actually, and it's one of the boss, President Trump's favorites also. This is a battle theme of every tenor, but it's also very, very representative of victory. Why? Because at the end, I sing one particular word 3 times. It's vincero, which in Italian translates to, I will win! Here we go. ladies and gentlemen, Vic Mellor!
Don't you just want to take a little bit of time and let that soak in a little bit more? You know, it's powerful when you're in a moment where things transform, right? And I don't know, I was having a hard time keeping the tear from flowing a little. Because when you watch people who have God-given talents that are just over the top, it does transform everything in you. And I just want to say one more time, Chloe, Chris, thank you for blessing us with your talents. Thank you. What an incredible night. What an incredible night. Before I bring up the man who brought us all here, please turn your attention to the video screen.
A Marine, a proven job creator, a fighter for working families, and a son of Rhode Island who has come home. Born and raised right here in Woonsocket by a single mom, Vic Mellor grew up in government housing and on welfare. After graduating from Woonsocket High School, he answered the call to serve his country. He joined the United States Marine Corps, where he learned discipline, leadership, and the true meaning of esprit de corps. After his service, he returned to Woonsocket. But like so many young Rhode Islanders still do today, he had to pack up and leave after just 3 years due to lack of opportunity. Vic headed to Florida. Starting with nothing, he built a thriving precast concrete business, specializing in hollow core concrete. Over more than 30 years, he created and ran multiple successful companies that employed hundreds of hard-working people and delivered real paychecks to families. Vic didn't stop there. He built The Hollow, a 27-acre children's educational camp, family entertainment complex, and home of his political organizations, which helped turn Venice, Florida, from blue to red. He also founded the We the People Health and Wellness Center, a tip-of-the-spear facility giving families real medical choices and freedom. Now, after 3 decades of building in Florida, Vic has come home to Rhode Island, the place that raised him. He's seen what's possible when leaders put people first, and he's ready to bring that same fighting spirit and proven results back to Washington for the working families of the Ocean State. He knows how to create jobs, cut through red tape, make payroll, and stand up for the values that built this country, because he's done it his whole life. Rhode Island, your son has come home. Here's the Marine veteran, the successful businessman, and the fighter who's putting Rhode Island first. Please welcome Vic Mellor.
Up. Does that work? Does that work? Does that work better? You just never disappoint, do you, Cat? Well, you know, I was going to start by singing. Thanks, Chris. So, hey, let me, see, I know we're doing good because my staff is a bunch of clowns. So this will be the first time I actually ever give a speech. I always just go up and wing it or do podcast or whatever. So I wrote a little speech, and I have my guys print it, and it's like 22 pages, and there's pictures, like what I'm supposed to do and stuff, you know. Super funny, you know. Yeah, super funny, Everett. Super funny. Well, hey, we'll get it. I just want to say, you know, thanks. I know my wife and kids are in here somewhere. There they are, right over here. So those are my two youngest, and then you saw my oldest in the video. He took over my concrete business, and I'm not gonna lie to you, he's doing it better than I was. And you know, he started it when he took over when he was 22 years old. So that was amazing, you know. So I love you, thank you, and you thought I was gonna do the same thing I did last time, huh? Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. But I will make fun of this one behind you that we did last time. Well, I just, you know, thank you, the Historic Park Theater. It's an amazing venue. Everything is this is just going perfect. The Cranston PD is out there with the crazies. Mayor Hopkins is somewhere right there. Mayor, there's something in your water, because this is the second time we've done a rally here, and the crazies just keep getting more and more and more. Like, we've been all over the country. I love you. Well, you're their boss. They can go out there and do it. Well, I won't lose any votes if you do that. I can promise you that. They love me. So, but hey, with that being said, with the cops and everything, public safety should be the #1 issue for all politicians. Right? Without safety, you have nothing. Right? You have nothing. What good is it if a mom can buy some bikes, but the streets aren't safe for the kids to ride? Right? You know, what good are parks if the gangs are running them, right? So there it is, right? Page 1. See, the writing's this big and everything else, right? Now, hey, our law enforcement, the city, state, and federal, I'm gonna say it, I'm the one that's saying it everywhere, right? I go on the Latino radio stations and talk about ICE. No doubt. I got lit up the first 2 rounds. The third round, it was 50-50 because they get it. You got to get through the noise. You got to get through the noise, and it was the noise on the radio station, and there's noise out there now. The substance is under the noise, and if you play in the noise, you lose, right? We don't play in the noise. We're playing where the voters are, and we're winning that part of it. Okay, so. I love it. Well, those law enforcement's our heroes. And when I'm a congressman, I'm telling you, they will get all the funding they need, because me, that's the #1 issue. And this is why the Rhode Island Fraternal Order of Police endorsed me, okay? Even though the crazies out there calling me a J6 cop killer. Can you imagine? It's crazy. I know. So, hey, I want to... Come here, Jen. Come here. Hey. And our team has been running events since the beginning, all sizes, big ones, little ones, events we weren't supposed to be doing as Republicans. And Jen's been leading all this up, but this is her last event, okay? Well, it's a good thing. She's going to Electric Boat, okay? I love you. Thank you. So let's just get into Electric Boat, right? So what happened a few months back, Secretary of War comes here and gives us an $18 billion contract. You know, not much, right? Probably tens of thousands of new jobs. And who doesn't show up out there? All right? Who doesn't? Any Democrat, especially the one I'm running against. Magazina doesn't show up either, because these guys are pushing their political ideologies instead of what's right and what's good for Rhode Island is working. All right? I promise you, hey, I'm already traveling overseas, I'm sure you heard. We're going to get jobs. My most important thing, jobs. Ready, page 2. And I added a lot of words into that, I promise you, you know. Actually, we went through page 3. 3 pages already, Everett. All right, so they don't show up for, Secretary Hegseth. And I'm going to tell you, I would have cooked dinner personally. It probably wouldn't have been that good, but but I really can't cook. I would have cooked dinner for them guys, all right, for more jobs for Rhode Island. I will do whatever it takes to get jobs for Rhode Island. There's just no doubt about it. I will be the best salesman. I promise you. I promise you jobs, right? Now, trade is the most important thing that we can get into here. Rhode Island at one point was the number 1 state in our country for trade. It was number 1. We were number 1. That's what all these mills that you see everywhere that are run down or transformed into something else, they at one point were great paying jobs. We can get back to that. We can absolutely get back to that. We just have to change the mindset that they're pushing with these communists that are actually running our state. I mean, I'll say it. These people are communists, They don't want you to be independent. They want you dependent on them. And the best way to do it is to get rid of business. Get rid of business, then you're dependent. But the problem is they become dependent. Now they're dependent on the federal government because we are now a welfare state. And guess what's going to happen? When I'm in Congress, I'm going to be holding them checks. I'm going to be holding them checks. And that's how I'm going to be able to make change. That's how I'm going to be able to make change. I'm going to meet with mayors just like this. Now, I don't know. I was doing some other interviews, but I don't know, Matt, I don't know if you said it or not, but I invited every mayor in the state to come here, and only one showed up. Only one showed up. Here we go, right? For an American icon. Rudy Giuliani is an American icon. And they could have shared a stage with them. Shows you where we're at, right? Another page. Yeah. All right. Let me get to the speakers. Will Worthy, thank you, sir. Holy crap! I probably could sing when I have this right here. What do you say, Will? No? Maybe not? Hey, I can't wait to move forward and work with you, man. Business in the 2A, right? If we don't have the 2A, we have nothing also, right? And my political group in Florida, okay, is called the Hollow 2A. And we were instrumental in pushing constitutional carry in Florida. And I will stop at nothing short of that in Rhode Island. Even if I gotta hold those checks, right? We're gonna make it happen. There's gonna be a transformation, all right? There it is. Another, Everett, you're on my shit list, buddy. Chloe, I met Chloe 3 years ago. She was this shy little thing. Her and her mom, we were at an event in Texas. Moms for America. We were giving them a check. The moms, Kimberly Fletcher's amazing with everything she does. Okay. I bounced, yeah, no doubt. Hey, I want you to keep an eye on that young lady. She met the general that day and impressed him so much that he brought her up on the stage the first time he ever met her and let her give a speech to a full amphitheater, and she kicked butt. And ever since, she is known throughout the whole Patriot landscape all the way up to the present. And it's an amazing thing this young lady's doing. She's only 20 years old, and she's doing all this. It's amazing. Yeah. The next is Chris. I don't have to say anything about that. You guys know, all right? Amazing, amazing. My favorite guy. You know right there, look at, you can't turn away from me. Matt Light. Matt Light, amazing. And he always says a human. He is one of the most amazing humans that I have ever met in my life. Don't smile, babe. Don't smile. I love you. We're not going to go any further than that, Matt, okay? Then Rudy. Let's just get to Rudy, all right? Hey, sorry about that. They're going to talk 9/11. They're going to talk election stuff. I just want to talk about what inspires me with Rudy. When he took over New York City was last in everything, okay? Sounds familiar, isn't it? You know, our state is last in basically everything. And he turned that city around to make it the envy of the world, okay? Can't talk too much about it right now, what's going on. I'm sure they will in a little bit. But hey, our state had the same. We used to be the envy of this country. We can do it again if we just get out of this mindset of Rhode Island last. We just got to get out of this mindset. Rhode Island first, baby. We can do this. It's just going to take a little work, and we're going to plow forward and make this happen, okay? All right? All right, well, my speech was written in a certain sequence, but they changed it on me just a couple seconds ago. But I want to talk about one thing that I'm doing now. There's a bill in the House right now, and it's called the Great American Healthcare Act, okay? And the Heritage Foundation just came out and said it's going to save the American taxpayers $1 trillion over the next 10 years. And what this bill does is it expands health savings accounts to every single American, okay? And it allows you to use them. You can use these tax-free dollars at the gym. You can use these tax-free dollars at a nutritionist, anything. If you want to get more of a holistic, you want to get red light done, you want to get some frequency done, you want to get ozone treatments done. You can't do that now under the sick care, but you'll be able to do it once we implement the Great American Healthcare Act, okay? So, there's several other parts to this, and one's being transparency. When you go into the doctor's office, you're going to know exactly what you're paying. You're going to know exactly what your bill is. There's going to be no more surprise bills month after month after month, okay? And then another part of this is the universal drugs, okay? So, and these things the president has already done executive orders on, but we got to codify them into law, okay? So I just got word, we've been working on this, and Speaker Johnson is letting it get added to it, is they are going to, in Rhode Island right now, you can't afford to die here. You can't afford to die here because they're going to take everything that you spent your life building. But now, under this Healthcare Act that we got in place, you can take your wealth and give it through health savings accounts to whoever you want to, tax-free, okay? And the reason I'm talking about this is because the Great American Healthcare Act was put in place by the Great American Health Alliance, which I am a founding member of. We started this about 2 years ago, wrote this bill, pushed it through. I got a congressman in Missouri to bring it up on the floor, and now there's a bunch of congressmen doing it. And it's going to be the first thing I do when I get there in January is I'm going to sign my own damn bill. So, all right. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and roll the first. We got all my events I do, we raise money and I give it to charities, okay? And we're going to talk about 2 veteran charities right now. Maybe at some points. All right.
They cleared buildings before soldiers entered, detected explosives buried in the dirt, and found the wounded when no one else could. Through the night, they tracked suspects and missing children, and found drugs and weapons hidden from human eyes. When everything went wrong, they stood between us and harm. Rhode Island is building a permanent place for their names, a memorial for the war dogs and police canines who served without a voice. You can help us build it. Honor the ones who gave everything and never asked for anything in return.
Where's Albert? Albert Top, where you at? All right, he's right here in the front row. Stand up for a second, buddy. Thank you. So Albert reaches out to me and says, hey, I've been working on this project for 3 years, and I think you might be interested in it since, I was a Marine Corps canine handler. And I said, well, what's it called? He said, War Dogs. And I said, I'm in. All right? He said, whoa. There's way more to it than I don't care. I'm good. You got me at War Dogs. All right? So what it also does is it gives every city and town in Rhode Island who has canine units, the picture was still up there, my bad. It memorializes all the services and all the police departments in the state, and it's an amazing thing. And Albert here, he's been pushing. He has the land and everything. He said he just needs some money. And he's like, we need about $400,000, Vic. And I said, we're going to get you $1 million. We're going to get you $1 million out of it, and we're going to push this thing through, and Rhode Island's going to get to share this everywhere. And I want to thank you for reaching out to me and including me, okay? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, and we're going to do it. And there's a second one that's for veterans. And she's been in my heart the whole time, hasn't she, Karen? So fitting of a name. We have a thing on it. Here it is. Dare to Dream Ranch. Stand up. She's amazing. She's amazing. So we just had the gala last weekend there. It was the second one I've been to. And she gives therapy dogs to veterans. Oh, it's amazing. But they were puppies. So we go there and they're just puppies, and I couldn't stop playing with them. They were just, and then she just says one word and they all stop and run away from me. It's crap. So hey, we got to support our vets. Without our war fighters, we're kind of like nothing. We're nothing without them. And I just, yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And I know everyone knows it here, and I'm just going to say it anyway. When Biden was president, we couldn't, no, don't get me going. We couldn't meet our volunteers. We just couldn't. We had to consolidate units, and just because nobody wanted to join under that type of a president. And as soon as President Trump gets in, boom, it explodes. And that's what true leadership is, okay? When you stand up for something and you let them know that you're going to stand up for them, and then you do it, they'll help you. They'll help you, and they'll make it happen with you. So I think that's about all I got since I'm all over the place here. But let me just close with, I'm going to go right back to the mindset of Rhode Island First and how we need to do all this together. We just need to push. Don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to the media. Just listen to your friends when they talk. I go into rooms, there'll be 20 people in there, and within 10 minutes, each one of them 20 will whisper in my ear, I voted for Trump. Every single person in the room, but they won't say it to each other. We have to stop doing that. We have to let them know we're here and we're not leaving. I'm not leaving. Hey, thank you. I know I'm way past my timeline, but this speech and stuff, kind of cool. So, hey, thank you. You know what? Thank you.
I am so glad he didn't try singing. That would have been horrible. I'm telling you already. You know, here's something I want to ask. I want you all to ask yourselves, right? And, you know, I've been around Vic for quite a while, well before he started this campaign. And, you know, I knew something when I first met him. You know how you can just look at someone and you can, in about 5 minutes, understand a lot of what they represent. And then I've really, you know, been blessed to get to know him more and more and the people that surround him. And that's really important. You know the man, but look at the people that surround him and listen to what they say. And so what I want you to ask yourself is, do you know his story? Do you know where he came from? Do you know the people that he surrounds himself with? Do you know what his background truly represents? Does it matter to you? Do other people around you know who Vic Mellor is? Because I'm going to tell you the answer is not enough. And we're not doing enough to have real conversations. So when you have a night like tonight where we're celebrating unbelievable voices and talents and people's hearts and souls and what they're passionate about and why that matters and supporting great things like these War Dogs Memorial and all these things, right? And Dare to Dream Ranch and the things that actually matter, think about the people behind that. Because if we don't really start to investigate the people behind it, we'll never, ever get back to trusting our nation. And when we lose the trust in this nation, there is nothing to build on. That is the foundation, right? That's right. It actually would have been a lot more simple if I said that. But I promise you, I really appreciate Vic Mellor. And, buddy, you're a friend, and I wish you the best, and I will do anything I can to help you in your endeavor. But with that said, I want to get back to some amazing music. So one more time to the stage, please welcome Mr. Christopher, where's he at? Macchio.
All right, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Here we go. Okay. All right, so we now get to have our fireside chat moment, and this is something I hope everyone has been looking forward to as much as I have. But we have a legend with us this evening, and a man that has done so much for this nation, the city of New York, and it is an absolute honor to sit down for this fireside chat with America's mayor, Mr. Rudy Giuliani. I also have a chair here. Can we please welcome to the stage Cranston's mayor, Mr. Hopkins. And thank you for joining us this evening, sir.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, my honor. Thank you, Matt. Notice how we're doing in Cranston? The lights are red, the chairs are red.
All right, gentlemen, before we begin, we're just going to ask everyone to turn their attentions to the video screen for one more video.
New York City was broken. The mafia had its grip on it, controlling construction, concrete, and garbage through the unions. Wall Street was dirty with insider trading. Crime was out of control.
Good evening, everyone. If you ride the subways, tonight's news is not so good. Subway crime has hit an all-time high, according to the transit police.
Nearly 2,000 murders a year. Fear on every corner. The law was broken. The streets were broken. The city itself was broken. Then a fighter from Brooklyn stepped into the arena.
3 individuals named in the indictment were directly involved and participated in both the planning for the murder, and the cover-up of it.
Rudy Giuliani. In the 1980s, Giuliani became one of the most aggressive federal prosecutors in the country. As U.S. attorney, he used RICO laws to take on the mafia. He went after Wall Street corruption and political wrongdoing. He built a reputation as a man who would not back down from a fight.
There he is, with wife Donna, son Andrew.
I'm standing before you as the next mayor of New York City.
Elected mayor in 1993, Police Commissioner Bill Bratton and Giuliani launched CompStat, real-time crime data that held commanders accountable. He enforced broken windows policing, going after the small crimes that signaled disorder. Serious crime fell more than 50%, murders dropped by nearly 2/3, and shootings plummeted. New York went from dangerous and declining to one of the safest large cities in America. On September 11th, 2001, his city came under attack.
Mayor, what's the situation right now?
The situation is that 2 airplanes have attacked apparently.
Giuliani was downtown within minutes. He coordinated the response and reassured a shaken city.
And we will strive now very hard to save as many people as possible and to send a message that the city of New York and the United States of America is much stronger than any group of barbaric terrorists.
He secured billions in federal aid and set up funds for victims and responders. In those dark days, he became known as America's mayor.
We know the risk you're taking.
Following the 2020 presidential election, Giuliani returned to the national stage in a new fight. He served as personal attorney to President Donald Trump and led efforts to challenge the results in multiple states. He held press conferences, filed lawsuits, and argued the election had serious integrity problems. When he believed the system was at risk, he refused to stay silent. He took on the mafia. He made New York safer. He led when the towers fell. Elections at risk, he refused to stay silent. Love him or criticize him, one truth remains. Rudy Giuliani knows how to fix what's broken.
Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet for America's Mayor, Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Thank you very much.
It's mutual.
All right, so this will be a lot of fun. I can already tell. You know, I sat back here and I watched you get fired up for Chris and his performances, and this man has a lot of fire in him and always has. I mean, I watched that video and so many things come flooding back, and you know, I was a young man when you got in this game, and you're still fighting for all those people that you've always cared for. And man, it's just an honor to share this stage with you. I guess I wanted to kick it off and just, I guess my first question would be, why do you do it? What is it that brings you to this point in your life where you've dedicated everything in service of others?
I think it's pretty clear. How many of you over the last 4 or 5 years have been confronted with something you never thought could happen, right? Our fighting in America over whether you can mutilate a 12-year-old child without telling their parent. Well, you can do that in Minnesota and about 8 other states. Or our fighting over whether men should be in the boxing ring with women and beat the shit out of them. Do we ever think we're going to fight over? My father was a boxer. My father is turning over in his grave. Or a woman who wants to be a Supreme Court justice sits before the United States Senate with one of our best senators, Senator Marsha Blackburn, hopefully soon to be governor of North Carolina, right? And she asks her, "What's a woman?" And Jackson says, I'm not a biologist." Well, I don't know. I went to law school a long time ago. I used to go on my horse, and I learned in law school kind of like all the definitions of the law, but I never had to be taught what a woman was. She didn't know. It would have seemed to me the thing to do then was to end the hearing and throw her out as either being a liar or too damn stupid to be on the Supreme Court. So, well, either one. But the reality is we're confronted with this all the time. We're confronted with waking up in the morning and being confronted with a world that we never thought would be like this. If you had asked me 30 years ago if somebody could get nominated and confirmed to the Supreme Court, they couldn't define a woman, I would have said absolutely not. Or if you told me that the mayor of New York was an acknowledged socialist communist who empathizes with the Hamas people, who not only killed 1,200 Israelis, but over the years, thousands of Americans. If you would have told me we had a mayor of New York who sympathized with people who kill Americans, I would say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. We're going to have a lot of things happen, but we're never going to have traitors sitting in major public offices. We're not going to have someone running for office and having as a surrogate speaker someone who said that, we deserve September 11th. Do you know how that makes me feel? I watched those towers go down. I was trapped for 30 minutes. The governor of New York thought I was dead. I lost so many of my best friends. I can't tell you how many. I lost the priest that was my confessor and my guardian and the man who took care of me. I lost him, and he was the first person who died on September 11th, first body to be found. And he was as good a man as God ever created. They killed him for only one reason, because they came here on behalf of Muhammad and to destroy us. Please, don't be too afraid to face our enemy. Don't. We are. People won't say that. The people who killed us on September 11 are the same people that are trying to kill us now in the Middle East, or the people who tried to kill me twice in 2018. They are killing us on behalf of the Quran, which tells them to kill you. And they're doing it based on an interpretation of Muhammad that you could avoid if you want, and most of them do, but you can also embrace it. There's no place in the New Testament that Jesus Christ tells anyone, be unfriendly with the Jews. Muhammad tells his people to be unfriendly with Jews and Christians. He actually tells them if they want to get to heaven, they're going to have wiped out the Jews and the Christians or made them slaves before they're going to be accepted for the final judgment. I don't know. I don't know if you've read the New Testament. I hope so. You see anything like that from Jesus? No, you don't. Well, we are in this battle right now. This isn't a political game anymore. This isn't an academic debate. I wrote a paper on the Muslim religion when I was 21 years old and trying to go into the seminary. And I know it backwards and forward. I've read the Quran 4 times. I have 5 different versions of it. If you want to debate it with me, I'm happy to debate any of them, anywhere, anytime, any place. Debate's fine. Just don't come here and kill my people. Don't go to Dearborn, Michigan and try to take over the city and accomplish it. And don't try to take my city away from me. And beyond it, somehow they've aligned with communists. So we are in the most serious political situation we have ever been in since the Civil War. Except at the Civil War, we knew it. We knew we were in that. 3/4 of our country are asleep. So people say, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? You can vote for Vic. That's what you can do about it. You can vote for Vic, and you can vote for so many others around the country, but you can't vote for anybody else, right? You get to vote for Vic. If you have a lot of money, you can give it to them. So, yeah, there is something you can do about it. People complain to me all the time. Half of them don't vote. You don't have a right to complain. If God forbid this election ends up the wrong way, and you didn't vote, it's your fault. If it ends up the right way and you did vote, well, then you get credit for it. And it's going to end up the right way because you've got a great candidate. You've got a quintessential American. Vic represents everything that we admire in America. He's a self-made man. He's a man. Or a woman. I don't care. Be one or the other. Don't tell me you don't know the difference. If you don't know the difference, New York is filled with psychiatrists that can help you. But not the United States Senate or the Supreme Court. And don't brainwash my children. Keep your damn hands off them. These are the battles that we're fighting. They're big ones. We get them wrong in 10 years from now, we're going to be speaking Chinese or Arabic. We get them right, and we're going to take America to another level of being the single greatest representative democracy over the longest period of time ever in human history. And we don't want to be the generation that ends that, do we? Well, if we're too lazy, we will be. So it starts very fundamentally. You leave here tonight, you got about 5 weeks. You get everybody you can to vote for Vic. And if they have to be driven, you just get them all to vote. And then if there are other races that are in your purview, and you can do that. But that's why I'm here. I'm here because I don't want to leave and maybe I hope go up there. And you never know. I'm a lawyer, so I'm getting my brief ready for but in any event,
I think you're good.
I don't want to leave here and let down my father, my grandfather, my relatives, my past, my political and philosophical relatives, our founding fathers. I don't want us to be the generation that passed America on the way to atheism, communism, Islamic extremism. I want to pass it on to a greater version of making a more perfect union. And that's what you get by participating in this process. So I'm here because I want you to vote. I want the basic answer. I'm here because I want you to vote for Vic. And get people to vote. Don't let them lose.
Well, thank you. It's easy to see your passion, and it's easy to understand where you come from. And I think we all relate to the fact that there are things that happen every day in our communities and on TV and the news that comes through our various feeds that don't make sense. None of it makes sense to me. You highlight, many of those. And, I think that voting for the right person is definitely the most important thing. And it's what a sacred right it is for us to have that. There's not always a great candidate. There's not always someone that you can believe in or you can trust in. We are very fortunate that Vic has chosen to put his time and energy here. And so I think, we have a lot to educate others, and that's the push tonight, right? You heard it from Will Worthy, and obviously Mayor Giuliani, you're mentioning that as well, that we have to get behind the Vics to get our country back on track. I would ask you, Mayor Hopkins, here, how much of that plays a role in the community here in Cranston?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to sit here with you, Mayor. One of the things I learned tonight as I watched this whole event is the fact that Vic Mellor has surrounded himself with winners. Super Bowl winners, the greatest mayor in the history of my lifetime. Those are winners. And I've learned tonight that I think that's what Vic Mellor is going to bring to the state of Rhode Island. And Vic, I'm with you. Some of the things that come up in my city, first of all, I'm Irish, and the majority of the people are named Giuliani's. But that's okay. That's okay. That's a good thing. But I really need to get a message out there loud and clear. There's 39 cities and towns in our state. And I am the only Republican mayor in the entire state of Rhode Island. I'm the only one. So here's my message tonight. We do not have to apologize because we are Republicans. We do not have to apologize because we believe in God. We do not have to apologize because we believe in the Second Amendment. Because they can all go to hell.
I couldn't agree more.
In my city, and Vic mentioned it tonight, my number one priority as the mayor of this city is to make sure that it's safe. I will give my police everything that they need to keep our citizens safe. They run out of bullets, I'll give them more bullets. Last week I bought them a Bearcat, $450,000, in case we have certain situations. Whatever they need, we have the best police force in the state, the best colonel in the state, and Cranston is the safest city in the state because of it.
Well, Mayor, I live in the freest part of Rhode Island. It's called Chepachet. And I'll take that Bearcat for a weekend or two when you guys aren't using it, just to make sure it stays running right. You know, I'll take that on, Mayor. No, thank you. And, you know, I think we all are being called to be bold. And to be bold doesn't mean to boast. It doesn't mean to brag. It doesn't mean to force people into submission. But, you know, Mayor Giuliani, I listen to you and I hear you. And there is no backing down in you. There is no apologizing. And how do we get that message out better? You've learned from some of the best. You've done it for so long at such a high level. And you talk about winners. You've won. You've won the biggest fights. You've overcome the biggest challenges. How do we build those kind of leaders in this world?
Oh, there you are. Okay. It really, let's think of how you or I or all of you developed our values, right? Where do we get them from? So we got them when we were just little babies from mommy, daddy, or whoever was mommy, daddy, if you were fortunate to have something like that, right? Then we developed it from school. When you're the way psychiatrists describe it, and this is why a lot of mental issues develop, and psychotherapy goes back into your childhood. If a parent yells at you at 15 years old, doesn't mean anything. If you're a 3-year-old and your parent yells at you, your parent is this big. Like that, he's a giant. And these things have much more of an impact on you. So the way you're initially brought up is really important. And if you have too many, I don't think the problem is one-parent families. What's that one parent like? And is the one parent able to make up for the fact that there isn't a second parent? Ideally, we should all have a mother and a father. But if we're going to have a mother or a father, they better be. But then we have a lot of kids with no parents. We've got a movement in this country that wants to get rid of parents. I don't know if you know that, but when you hear Democratic Socialist of America and you hear Black Lives Matter, do you know that the second proposition of Black Lives Matter, the first one is to get rid of God. The second proposition is to get rid of the average family, the unitary family. They're very much against fathers. Very much against fathers. They don't want fathers in the house. Fathers beat up women. Fathers affect children in the wrong way. Fathers abuse children. They don't want fathers. They want your kid in early education at about 2 or 3 years old. When I first heard about early education, I think it was before I was mayor, I thought it was a great idea. You know, get the kid 2 or 3 years old, get them ready for kindergarten or first grade. Well, theoretically, it is a good idea. And then I was a student of communism in school. And do you know Karl Marx's greatest wish, which he shared with Frederick Engels, Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, was if you could get the kids at about 2 years old away from the parents and start training them then. And Lenin achieved it. And this is what the teachers union is trying to do. They're going around America getting billions of dollars so your kid can go into early education. It'd be great if your kid went into early education to learn how to read and to learn how to write and to learn how to distinguish colors and to learn how to socialize with other kids. It doesn't. He gets into early education to be brainwashed as a Marxist. What I just said to you is not an exaggeration. I'm not prone to conspiracy theories. When I ran for president, one of the reasons I didn't get nominated, I was too much of a moderate Republican. I was wrong. It took me a while to see it, but my education got me to see it. I spent the early part of my life really studying communism, strangely, and the Islamic religion. And when I see these things happening, most people see them as isolated things, right? They're burning down statues. That's crazy. What are they burning down statues for? What could a statue do anyway? They burned down a statue of Teddy Roosevelt in New York. Teddy Roosevelt family fought in the Civil War. They were almost overzealous in favor of freeing the slaves and winning the war. I think his father got the Medal of Honor in the Civil War, and he was too young. So they took his statue away because his statue, which is one of the most beautiful in New York, on one side there's a black kid, on another side there's a Native American kid, and they're helping him. It makes them look subservient. So they took the whole statue down of a man whose family gave their lives to free black people. And nobody except me had the courage to say what I just said. Nobody had the courage to say, when they say how terrible the whites are, I say, wait a second. Tell me someplace else that 350,000 white men died to free black people. Did anybody in Africa ever do that? You got 300,000 Africans in Africa that freed black people? I gotta find it. So don't we get a little respect for that? How about those 300,000 white people? So we gotta fight for our country. This craziness that we're guilty and we're terrible and we're awful and what we did to the indigenous people, and we took their land away as if they had deeds and property rights, and we didn't take their land away any more than the Romans took Italy away from the Etruscans. This is the way in which the world developed. If America committed a sin doing that, it was one of 200,000, and it was a pretty benign one. And I don't know, they were pretty far behind when we got here. They weren't exactly at the level of reading, writing, considering philosophy and the betterment of a human being. And of course, some of those terrible colonialists were awful, but some of those terrible violent people they met used to chop their heads off. So why don't we tell the truth? And what good does it do to run down America? Because if you have the slightest brain, you say to yourself, there's no place else to go. How can these people like Mandani or this El Mohammed Sayad, whatever the hell he is, and the one who married a brother to come into America, they're all wonderful. I mean, they're all absolutely wonderful. Or the bartender from New York, AOC. She wasn't that good a bartender, by the way. If they want to run down America, then explain to us why there's no country on earth within 40 million in which people want to come here. Why do all these people want to come here? If this place is so bad, like the Somalians who come here and steal, why you come here? And why do we take you? You should just demonstrate to us when you come here, I love America. We shouldn't take it. You don't walk in here with a First Amendment right to hate us. You know, once you're here, we got to live with it if you hate us. But when you walk in, we should be smart enough to say, if you hate us, go to hell back to where you came from.
That's a fact.
So these are the things we're fighting for. They all get mixed up and they're all across the board. But this is the influence of Marxism for 100 years. And I know they're going to reject it. I can prove it to you. In our schools, because starting with Dewey and all through the time they developed the public schools, there was a strong communist influence going back to the Wilson administration. The teachers' union is a communist union. I spent 8 years negotiating with them. I know the insides of them. I have relatives who were members of the original teachers union. They are a communist union. They hate America. They hate the children they take care of because they put themselves first. And yes, there are a lot of good teachers, but if they're really good, they would quit that union.
Mayor Hawkins?
Mayor, if you can point to where that statue of Teddy Roosevelt is, I'll gladly take it in the city of Cranston. And we'll find a nice prominent place for it, right in the city.
It's a private museum took it about 8 blocks from the museum. It was in front of the Museum of Natural History. They took it from the Museum of Natural History, which I think he developed, Roosevelt. And they took it in there so that they can now, for this very reason, because they're hoping to find a place to put it. Now, you see what the president just did, but they don't make a big deal out of it. The president returned the statue of the man who probably is most singularly responsible for freedom outside of America. Jefferson. Yeah, Jefferson owned slaves, but Jefferson was guilty about it. He's like a human being. He was guilty about it, but he was afraid to let them go. And he was guilty about it and thought if he let them go, they weren't ready yet. Well, that probably is racist, but I know it's 250 years ago. But a lot of people weren't guilty about it. And then he wrote something into the Declaration of Independence, which probably created freedom 200 years earlier for the rest of the world than would have. All men are created equal. And people will say, that's a contradiction. Women weren't, blacks weren't. You think he didn't know he wrote a contradiction? You think Jefferson didn't know he put a poison pill in the Declaration of Independence? He put it in there for that reason. If you have the energy and the intelligence, which most of these kids have neither now, you can read it. Jefferson knew he put it there. Jefferson wanted to free slaves when he was 27, and they told him he would be ruined if he did. Maybe he should have been ruined, be more courageous. Or maybe he should have stayed around to write the Declaration of Independence, I don't know. But this is a very complicated man. And a man who has contributed to us something that we would have been very different if we didn't have the 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson writing that Declaration of Independence and putting those words in there. Nobody ever wrote that before. Men belong to the king. All men are created equal. And that was repeated all over Europe in the revolutions that took place in the 19th century. And then we take his statue down. Trump has put a statue, he commissioned it, and in about 3 weeks it's going to be reinstalled in the White House.
There we go. Mayor, I wish a lot of young people could be here and listen to your words. I wish that legacy that you have, that you've built, that more young people would recognize it, because to your point, it does start, the future leaders are out there. They exist. And we do need to pour into young people more now than ever. And I will tell you that one of the things that was uplifting for me, we've worked with kids for 25 years through the Life Foundation. And during COVID, we never stopped what we did. Matter of fact, during COVID, the only major event held in 2020 in the state of Rhode Island was our event to raise money to work with kids. We never stopped it. We actually were allowed to host it. Over 600 people. I told my team, if we quit, we definitely will not raise a dollar. But if we work really hard and prove that we can do it in a safe way, and we present that plan to the state, maybe we'll get to have it. And we were the only organization, only nonprofit to host that. But that money supports work with kids. And I will never forget, in the summer of 2020, running the camps for the Life Foundation and starting to feel sorry for myself because I was frustrated with these kids. We worked hard and we put a lot on the line to host these kids. There are a lot of people that told us not to do it. A lot of our board members said, what are we doing? What if these kids die? What if they get sick, right? I said, these kids need this more now than ever. And when they started to take it for granted, and I started to get upset about it, and I'm trying to put these young men in place, I remember I got really upset. And what happened next is what keeps me working hard every single day. And that is, these kids have had a lot come at them for a long time. A lot of people not telling the truth. A lot of people that haven't shared the stories that you share and the things that you know. But the minute you hit them with the reality of what is the truth, they immediately snap out of it. And that's what we need to do. We need to have real conversations and speak the truth. So I'll let you.
Would we have time for a question?
Okay. From the crowd?
From the next U.S. Congressman for the 2nd District of Rhode Island. Can we get
I
a question
think we can
from
allow
him?
that. I think we can allow that.
Please.
Mr. Mayor, this is going to be a battle that I'm about to engage in here, okay? Give me some advice. You've advised many presidents, and I'd like a little bit right now, please.
Well, I'm going to give you advice. Go there. Don't be impressed by them. Right now, you're probably more effective than 90% of them. And the other 10% you should admire and follow. But don't get into this, you can't present this bill because you're a freshman. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that a freshman doesn't have the same right to vote, present bills. Your people deserve the same representation than somebody who's been there for 35 years. In other words, don't get intimidated by it. And it happens to a lot of, first of all, a lot of people go to Congress for the wrong reasons, so we're not gonna help them, right? If they went to Congress to get rich or to be important or to go to all the cocktail parties and get drunk, which there are more than you think. Look, I was in the Justice Department too. I policed Washington for 4 years. I handled the Hinckley case when Ronald Reagan was shot. You have no idea my real views on the United States Congress. You're gonna be right at the top. You go in there. Just remember that. Don't listen to the seniority stuff and you got to wait and you've got to. If there are things you want to do for your people in Rhode Island, just do it. And when they tell you can't, tell them to go to hell. And I'll introduce you. They're now a little group because Trump really led this way. These people who supported Trump got in. And there's one that I'm thinking of that Ted and I were very friendly with. And he was there only about 6 months. He passed 3 bills. Because he had a setup. You do. So the main thing, and a lot of them do, they get there, but then they intimidate them. You're just a freshman, wait. And the next time they talk to them, it's 10 years later. Just go there and be a fighter for what you believe in. You're just as important as they are. And your people are just as important as their people. And fight for what you believe in and don't let them, put you off because that's what happens to a lot.
I can guarantee you they won't intimidate this man. That is a fact. And that is sage advice. One of the questions I think a lot of people in this audience and all around this state have is, what in the world can our state do for us to make this cost of living go down? My God, they're paying twice as much on their electrical bills. There's no relief in sight. And I haven't heard a single politician say anything that's serving right now, say anything that would lead me to believe that this is going to get better. So how can our government help lessen the burden on the people in this country? Yeah, Mayor Hockin.
I think one of the things I've got to explain to you is the makeup of the people of Rhode Island. People of Cranston, there's 85,000 people in this city. There's 30,000 registered Democrats, 9,000 registered Republicans. How the hell did I win?
That's a good
Because
question.
there's 40,000 independents that won't admit that they're Republicans. So, Vic, as we continue this election, in my city, we're going to get those 9,000 people to vote for you. But we've got to focus on those 40,000 that don't know whether they're Democrats or Republicans. And I'm going to tell them that you're the guy to vote for.
Mayor, that used to be true in New York. So that's how I got elected. I was the third Republican in 100 years to get elected. And I was only the second one to stay a Republican. One of them quit because he got scared. You know the name. LaGuardia and I were the only two to remain Republicans since 1905. Okay, and Bloomberg, who succeeded me, was the next century, but he became a Democrat too. But it was the independents that did it. I can tell you, it was the independents and it was the Jewish vote. New York City used to have a strong Jewish vote. It still does, but Mondani is doing everything he can to get rid of them. The Jewish vote would, although very much tied to the Democrat Party, would vote the best interests of the city if it got really bad. But it had to get really bad. We had to get to 2,000 murders a year. And they were one of the most educated votes in the city, and they would go in the best interests of the city. It's not just the fact that Mondani is a prejudiced, bigoted Muslim who is taught to hate Jews as part of his religion. By the way, to hate you even more. The Quran teaches them that basically our religion is a fraud. Jesus wasn't God. Jesus didn't die on the cross. It was all made up. Jesus is not a bad guy because he didn't know it. He's just stupid. He didn't know that all this was made up about him. And when Muhammad took his trip up to heaven with Gabriel, who picked him up at the Dome of the Rock and took him up there for a few days to meet all the prophets, he met Jesus, and very condescendingly, Muhammad described he wasn't bad. It wasn't the best one. Abraham was better. He was okay. But of course, I'm more important than he is. What I'm telling you is in the damn Koran if somebody would read it. And so they start off with like this whole thing about anti-Semitism is, believe me, is frightening. This is very often the harbinger of dictatorship. It started in Germany 30 years before. And then you see what happened. I was accused in 2020 with President Trump during a presidential debate by a nitwit named Joe Biden. And in it, he said that the hard drive of his son didn't exist, and it came from the Russians, and that I got it from the Russians for Trump. And it was because of Trump's being close to Putin. Well, that was so wrong. I mean, it was idiotic. I got the hard drive from a man named John McDavis, who was a computer repairman in Dover, Delaware, who had this drunken, degenerate, drug-addled piece of crap come in with a couple of computers to get fixed and forgot to go back and get them. Just in case you think that was unusual, he also lost a computer to a Russian prostitute. Who knows what information was given away on that one. And he lost a computer to his psychiatrist, who finally covered it up and got it back to him. So the fact that he lost computers was very, very clear. That computer was checked by, I would say, easily 20 FBI experts, including 10 of them that were working for Biden at the time and trying to prove it wasn't his. I went and personally verified it with my lawyer, Bob Castillo. I was the U.S. attorney, he was the chief of the criminal division, and we knew more about prosecution than really the entire Trump Justice Department combined in time too. That was his hard drive. 51 intelligence experts, all the most famous in America, all the ones who have led us to horrible defeats, all the ones who have given phony information to American presidents, including Bush, wrote a letter saying it has the earmarks of Russian disinformation. None of them could describe an earmark. I have learned as a lawyer of 52 years, when you make a general allegation like that, it has a number of indicia of fraud. You can't give me one, you're a liar. Because what I do to nail you is, I give you 5 examples that kill you, and then I tell you it hasn't. So they were lying completely. Long story short, 17 months later, it's discovered, and the New York Times apologizes to Trump and me. On page 28, this big. It ruined my law practice even before I was disbarred. It killed my $40 million security firm. It led to any number of harassments I won't even bother to tell you about.
And we still love you dearly. That is a fact.
Do you know what the latest is?
That is a fact. And
a week ago, I got to tell you one more thing. A week ago, Hunter Biden is on with Tucker Carlson. And he tells Tucker Carlson, no. The hard drive actually came from the Jews. It came from Netanyahu's guy. And he names the guy. And Tucker Carlson, I don't know what the hell has happened to him. Tucker Carlson said, I agree. Also completely false. But they haven't stopped. They are really evil. I don't really know exactly. Even I can appreciate how bad they are. But now they're trying to convince people that the hard drive came from Israel.
well, we know who you are and we know what you've done, and we are so thankful for the fight that you have put forth. And listen, the good news is at least Hunter is a great artist. He'll always have his art. He'll always be fine. Terrible with hard drives, but he's always going to have his art. But listen, I just want to say how thankful I am to share this stage with both of you tonight, to have you here, to have these lessons, the wisdom, for you to share your legacy with us, and for you all to hopefully take a lot of what tonight represents and help make Rhode Island first again in many areas with the leadership of Mr. Vic Mellor. So to Mayor Giuliani, Mayor Hopkins, thank you so much for being here tonight. Please stand in thanking them one more time. A big congratulations.
Remember, this is very complicated, isn't it? All these things that have happened and where we're going, and some of it's even unbelievable. And you wonder about the people who talk about it on different sides. The best way to deal with a complicated problem, including a health problem, is the first important thing. We can't solve it. We can't solve it all tonight. Or the first important thing, which is within our area of control, because you do what you can control. You can't handle what you can't control. Vote for Vic.
It's that simple. Thank you so much.
Hey, don't leave yet. Kristen and Chloe are going to perform.